Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you all doing? My name is Amanda Ellis, and a very warm welcome to my channel, whether you are new or whether you are returning. It feels as though this particular video is a bit of an emergency broadcast, but I say that not to put fear into anybody's hearts, but rather to gather the troops together. Those of us in this community who try to live from a heart-centered place, try to hold the line, hold the light, and are aware of the power that we have to be able to raise the frequency, not just of ourselves, but the wider world, at a time when it is very easy to sink into fear. So, the reason I'm coming on, of course, is due to the escalating crisis in the Middle East, in particular the war between Israel and Iran, with potential USA involvement not yet decided as I record this on the 18th of June in the morning, although it could, of course, be said that many home nations' involvement are already there on the ground in the form of weaponry that has been sold by our countries. But maybe that is a debate for another day. Right now, our job as Lightworkers is about trying to diffuse this situation as best we can, to try to remain calm and be actually the calm eye of the storm, not just for ourselves, but for others also. What I would like to try to attempt to do in this video is to bring forward some guidance for you with regards to how we do that, some reminders with regards to spiritual protection that are very important right now, to bring through some messages from some of the guides and the archangels. We will also be doing some type of visualization or meditation or prayer that is linked into bringing in the angels and guides that are trying to work on this situation from a higher perspective to stop man basically from doing the worst that they can in this age. The truth is that this planet has been around for millennia, and upon it, unfortunately, war is not a foreign energy. What is different now, though, of course, is that the weapons of war are bigger, more powerful than ever before. And the question is with regards to whose hands should they be in. There is a song that is coming to my mind as I'm talking to you about weapons, and it's actually by Sting, who was the lead singer of The Police, if you weren't around in the 70s or 80s. And the song is called Shape of My Heart. And there is a particular verse that I think is very appropriate for these times and these days. And it is this. He sings, "I know that the spades are the swords of a soldier. I know that the clubs are weapons of war. I know that diamonds mean money for this art, but that's not the shape of my heart." There's something here about standing up and saying, "Not in my name," being an advocate for peace, for negotiation, for reconciliation, for forgiveness, for finding a path through the mess that we find ourselves in right now. I think these hours to come, and I'm particularly filming this with regards to the next 48 to 78 hours in our world. I haven't actually done the maths, whether that takes us up towards Saturday or not, but I'm feeling that the summer solstice energies on the 21st of June are very important this year as well, to teach us something. At the end of the day, solstice, whether you are celebrating summer solstice or winter solstice, is very much a reflection back to us on the nature of duality. One half of the world having the shortest day and the longest night, the other half of the world having the longest day and the shortest night. There is a rhythm to that. And there is a rhythm to this world with regards to times of peace, times of war. And unfortunately, right now, we seem to be in a time of war, which we don't want to be escalating any further. Literally, only 2 weeks ago, I was on here talking about war, and I was particularly focusing on the situation between Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Gaza. And probably within days of that video going up, we then had the escalating tensions between Israel and Iran. I said in the previous video that I am on the side of peace, and that is the side that I remain on. So I'm going to give you some insights then with regards to things that I am picking up. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to pretend that we are not in a dire situation, because I believe we are. But I also want to remind you of the power of prayer, the power of presence, the power of your own higher self, and also your own soul contract that chose to come to this world right now at this time when it was this chaotic, this disordered, this divided. And it is for that reason that you came, to try to steer the ship, hold the light, and demonstrate love in a world that is demonstrating a lot of hate at the moment. So, let's get to it. I have drawn a couple of cards off camera. I'm going to show you what they are, because they just help me to focus on the messages that want to come through. The deck that I'm using today is the Shaman's Dream Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid and Alberto Villoldo. And the first card that came out is card number 44, a very angelic frequency, of course. And it says, perfect storm, the courage to step into life. The perfect storm, courage to step into life. Because the truth is, whatever is occurring in our world, we still have a life to live. We still have a job to do. We still have relationships to honour. We still have contracts to honour. And we have a responsibility to our own soul that chose to be here to make the most of any time that we find ourselves in where we have incarnated. So in many ways, this bird on this deck, and I'm being very drawn to the bird kingdom right now. If you watch my previous video on ancient Egypt, we were talking about the energy of Horus, linked into the energy of a sky god type energy. And that it has met Horus's energy has many qualities, but it's also a very protective one. But this particular bird on this card is just reminding us that whatever is going on around us, that actually we find our courage and we find our strength when we are tested, whether that is energetically tested, whether it is actually being physically tested by being in the middle of a war zone, or just watching from afar but being unsettled and troubled by it, which of course you will be, finding the courage to still step into life. The next card that came through was card number 40, and it's a card which to me is very much about community. It says mindful group think. And it's absolutely a nod to the fact that as a community, as a tribe, as a family, as a group of people, as Soul Tribe, it is our responsibility at this time to not feed the darkness and the fear and the panic and the anxiety, but to try somehow to remain the light is what I'm hearing. And more than anything, the analogy of storm is here. But what Metatron is showing me is that in a physical storm, with regards to thunder and lightning and heavy rain and gales and all the rest of it, however bad it may be at the time, there is always the knowledge that this too shall pass, that after the storm, there will be the sunrise again. There will be the clarity that comes with a new day. a new dawn, a new beginning. And that is a promise. Again, no matter what. I keep hearing the phrase, no matter what. No matter what, the sun will rise again. No matter what, humanity will find a higher path. But right now, we're in a deep crevice, is what I'm hearing. We're in a deep crevice, and it feels as though some of the leaders, but just the collective energy as well, is feeling as though they are cornered, they are trapped. Somehow they have to react or behave in this particular way, between a rock and a hard place, I'm hearing as well. But that may very well be true. But for us, somehow we've got to keep our eye on that horizon and that brighter future. And that is not about putting our head in the sand and pretending that what is happening over there is not happening, because it is. So it's about having that on your radar, holding space for what is going on here, but also having our eye very fixed on what we are trying to bring in and create and manifest. One of the energies of Horus, I will just show this card again, it is an energy which helps us to manifest. And in many ways, manifesting from chaos is actually how the universe came into being as well. If you think about the energy of dying stars and new stars that are born, there is just this energy of organized chaos in many ways within our universe, and also within our lives as well. If you think back to your own life and chapters that have already played out, it often is when everything has fallen apart, seemingly, that a new path emerges, which over time, given commitment and creativity and manifestation and hard work sometimes, absolutely can be a very fulfilling path, and one you never would have started upon unless you were in either some type of energetic storm that caused everything to fall away, or something else happened where the old version of you, the old version of your world, no longer was attainable or even possible to hold on to. So this energy of the bird as well, I just keep seeing the birds. It's to do with the eyes, actually, more than anything else. Their ability to be able to remain focused on that which is required and that which is needed. The last card which I've pulled so far, I'll pull some more with you now, live as it were, but this one came upside down, so it's in a reverse position. And it is the card of Drifter. It says experiencing life as it comes. And it shows, it's interesting, actually, I'll show you the card in a minute. I just need to look at it. It actually shows a ship that is going through what looks like a divided sea. So this to me reminds me of the parting of the sea and Moses, and the story of that, basically, taking the people to a promised land. Now, I'm not wanting to get into it's about any particular nationality here. It feels as though all of us are trying to get to this promised land. And what is the promised land? The promised land is effectively the timeline that Earth will get to no matter what, which is a higher timeline, which is the energy of New Earth, which is what we've been talking about here on this channel and many other channels for many, many years. So we're going to get there, but right now it feels like an uphill task. So I'm seeing the energy of Moses and the sea before it parted, and I'm sure he must have stood there and thought it was impossible, that there was no way out of this situation, that they were trapped, they were going to be caught, and it was all over, game over. But there was a moment of divine intervention which came in, which parted that sea and made what was impossible possible. So that seems a very important message to me. There's another message I'll tell you about in a moment, but I also just want to say with this card, what else am I getting? It's basically saying that as a species, we are not very good at being able to take life as it comes. It's in an upside down position. We're not good at dealing with the unexpected. We're not good at dealing with drama. We're not good at dealing with chaos. And ultimately, of course, this is psychological in nature. As human beings, we like to feel safe. One of the most fundamental requirements of being human, actually, is to feel safe. If we don't even feel safe, it's hard to get all of the other requirements in place, such as eating and drinking. You have to at least be safe. So right now, there is an energy that we don't feel safe. There is just too much happening. Every day there is something happening, whichever country you're in. Even in my own country, yesterday, UK, a couple of years ago, there were a couple of stories that were arising, which would have been things I would have looked at in videos. But there was probably about 5 things I could have read on yesterday. It is absolutely impossible to keep up with the magnitude of disclosures, revelations, things that are coming up for healing, things that are being exposed, things that are damn right wrong and that need a voice. And it can be absolutely overwhelming for many of us right now. So no doubt this card is also about an energy of overwhelm. It's linked into I just have to switch off because I can't take any more of it, whatever it is. But it feels as though this moment to come is one where the world is meant to stop and notice and pause and unfortunately look at what man can do when left to his own devices, devoid of spiritual help. But that's the worst case scenario, because of course what we are aiming to do here is to help bring in, there already will be an army of angels trying to stop the escalating tensions. But remember, the first law, the first spiritual law, is that they have to be asked by us to also intervene. So the more of us that ask and request angelic support and assistance, as well as galactic support and assistance, the better. That's why it's very important that we come together as a tribe right now. This card as well, with the narrow passageway, which is in reverse, is also, to me, about the Strait of Hormuz. I think that's the right way of pronouncing it. And I was going to bring this up anyway, and I am just going to reference some notes that I've got here, because I know we're not all totally up to speed with international sea passageways and how vital they are to the whole world, not just the Middle East, the whole world, because there is something called the Hormuz Strait, and Iran has threatened to either close it, or there's been speculation that they might put mines in it. But this is a strait which is called the world's most important oil transit choke point. It's actually quite narrow in places, I believe, and there is a lot of cargo that goes through it. It's one of the passageways in our world that needs to be kept open, a bit like the Suez Canal. And if it is closed, or if something happens to it which makes it more unnavigatable, the price of oil is going to skyrocket across the world for everybody. Now, what I'm being shown by Spirit, and again, this is just one timeline, it can change, but I am wanting to bring it to our attention, because when we're aware of it, we can try to do something about it, is that when I first started hearing about the Hormuz Strait and Iran's threat to block it or mine it, what came to me was the 3 days of darkness. Now, I've always felt that the 3 days of darkness is very different from maybe some of the other channeled information that's out there. I felt it's more to do with us going within ourselves, and it's very hermit-like. It's about trying to find the light within ourselves when everything feels very dark. And you could say that that time is now. I don't know whether the next 3 days are the time or whether it is to come, but it feels as though somehow the energy of fuel and light and energy and power potentially can be affected big time if something happens to this particular strait, and it will be it's something that Iran have got up their sleeve as retaliation to what they are seeing as an act of war upon them by Israel. As I say, I'm not taking sides in this. I am on the side of peace, and I just see the suffering on all sides and all people. I do think we should be asking for the divine to be able to connect and step into the bodies of our leaders so that they make the right decisions. And that is about letting go of ego and power and allowing spirit to work through you. And that's a big ask sometimes for leaders who are all about power and about ego. And unfortunately, we are at a stage in our world right now where we have the patriarchal grip is still very strong upon many countries and many lands. Has a stranglehold is what I'm hearing. I'm really feeling that around my throat as I'm talking to you. But I feel as though, and I've said this before in many videos also, the power of the divine feminine is needed right now. This is not a time for the divine feminine to be quiet. This is a time for the divine feminine to use her voice and her energy and her fertile power that she holds within herself to create the change that we wish to see in our world. There are many guides flooding in as I'm talking to you. I'm definitely feeling the energy of Mary Magdalene and have been for quite some time. And she comes in as this wise elder today. In later years of her life is how she's appearing to me. So let me just bring her in and see what she may like to say about this. I think particularly she's coming in relation to the children affected in these lands. Yeah, and so I'm being shown the children. And what's interesting is she's saying these children have no nationality. I mean, they do on paper, but what she's showing me is just the energy of children. So whether they're in Israel, whether they're in Iran, whether they're in Gaza, whether they're in Ukraine, whether they're in Russia, wherever they are, wherever the trouble spots are, they are just children, and they have this innocence about them and this purity. But she's showing me the fear in their eyes and the responsibility that we have to try to create a better world for them and their children's children, and to not give up the fight is what she's saying, to not give in to fear, but to keep hope alive in your heart. Because if you don't have hope in your heart and your eye fixed on a brighter horizon to come, you are failing them as much as politicians may be failing them. Okay, so, and their fellow brethren may be failing them as well. So there's something about just bringing in an energy of protection to the world's children at this time. My screen just went dark, but I mean, I know why it did it, but it was just interesting it did it, as I was saying, bring peace into the world's children. Let me just get the light back on. It's all symbolic, is it not? Get the light back on. Get the light back on. Serapis Bay saying that. Okay, sorry, distracted. So Mary Magdalene. Let me pull a card actually from a Mary Magdalene deck. I've got a couple. Let's see which one wants to come through. We'll go to this first one. I do know that there is a card in this Magdalene Oracle, which is about war and peace. I don't know whether we'll pull that one or not. Let's just see what wants to come through. Mary Magdalene. The next 24 to 72 hours. I was hearing 28 hours for some reason, but anyway, the next hours. Okay, the next hours, the next few days. We've got the energy of illumination and we've got the energy of gratitude, fell out. We've got the matrix. Okay, so we have the energy of the matrix for Mary Magdalene. We have illumination and we have the energy of gratitude. So I feel as though she's saying we can feel very defenseless and as though we are victims to what is going on in our world sometimes, and that the matrix is somehow bigger than us. But yet she's saying we create the matrix. And even though the matrix is quite fortified and defended, there is the ability, I'm being shown, those experiments on cells where they put like a needle into the cell and it ruptures and you're able to inject something in. There's something here about us injecting into the matrix our goodness, our femininity, and we have got the energy of gratitude here. And again, sometimes it's during the darkest times in our world that we actually are more easily able to sink into gratitude, that I do have a roof over my head. When I say this every night before I go to bed, I always thank God for the roof I have over my head, for my family, for the food I have on my table, the drink that I've had today, for the fact that I'm safe, the fact that I have a warm bed, the fact that I'm clean, all these type of basic things that many people just don't even give any attention to. Every night I try to remember to thank God for those things. And I think she's reminding us of that. But as we do it, to also extend it to another for that blessing, because it is ultimately a blessing that we have these things in a world where others don't, to be able to send some of those blessings onto another who is in need of those basics. But I definitely feel as though there is something here about being able to change the matrix. And I'm just looking at the colours of this card. We've got the red, and you could interpret the red to do with blood, maybe, sacrifice, war itself, Mars-like energy. But red is also the energy of the feminine. Red is the energy of life itself. Red is the energy of domination and power, but it's also the colour of chi and life force energy that we have within ourselves as light workers to affect the change that we want to see at a macro level. So Mary Magdalene, absolutely one of the energies here, trying to help pick up the pieces is what she's saying with regards to the devastation in towns and cities, and more than anything the children that are so affected. Also to be there for the elders, also all stages of man and woman. Okay. I wanted at this point just to remind you about some simple protection methods. I'm sure most of you use spiritual protection on a daily basis anyway. But again, during times of darkness in our world, it's very important that you do this, because it's as though there are lots of fragments and energetic shrapnel that is flying around. And as despair rises in smoke in another land, we all breathe the same air ultimately. So when there is an air of desperation or horror or fear in a far off land, we also can breathe that in. So we need to be very aware of our own energetic space, of our own aura, and do everything that we can to filter out anything that is going to be detrimental to us at an individual level. Because if you are lowered, then you're not going to be able to do your job as effectively as a light worker. I'm really being drawn to the element of air for very obvious reasons right now. But we did use the air elemental to connect into the energy of Horus in my last video. And I want to link into the energy of air again for a number of reasons. If we think about all of the missiles, what's happening is, of course, they are going through air. These potential huge, I can't remember what it's called, Buster bomb or whatever it's called that the Americans have, it comes via the energy of air, or its effects it's like the butterfly effect, but in a bad way. It has ramifications that just go through the air. We all breathe the air. So very much like Dr. Emoto taught us with regards to water, that we can purify the energy of water with our thoughts, with our intentions. We've got to be sending out intentions to the air for it to be purified. And what it says on this bottle, the air elemental, is it says breathe. So it's about, are we breathing in an energy of fear and dread and horror and worry, or are we breathing in an energy of trust and faith, no matter what? Okay, I keep hearing no matter what, because the truth is that there's already terrible things that have happened. We might still be thinking, oh my God, something even worse could happen. And then if that does happen, all of our efforts are to no avail. That's not the case, because light work is about diminishing and reducing the potential catastrophic energies that are out there. And you never know the impact of one prayer or one positive affirmation or one clearance of the air around you to another person out there that you're never going to meet, you're never going to know. So we have to trust that we can make a difference, and we are making a difference no matter what is happening. All right, that's what it is to be the calm eye of the storm that just keeps going, keeps believing, keeps trusting, keeps having faith. Because the truth is, many of us are old souls, and we've been here before, and this is not our first rodeo. Okay, this is not the first time we've arrived on this planet and it's been as it is now. So anyway, back to the energy of air. Let's just spray this. Archangel Metatron. And again, I'm being shown the bird kingdom and the ability of birds to be able to find a place of shelter. Birds have this, many animals do, I know, but I'm just being shown the birds having the awareness to know where it is safe to build a nest, where it is not. Indeed, sometimes they will abandon a nest if it's not safe for the chicks to come, They just know how to ride the thermals. They know how to get out of danger. They know which altitude to get to if they need to get to it. So there seems to be some solace with regards to the bird kingdom right now. The energy of bird. My daughter mentioned actually the other day, there's a book, I think it's called something like Respect for All Things or Respect for Small Things. There's something to do with when things feel as though they're getting unmanageable and too big, and problems are getting too big in our world, and it's just like a runaway train, basically. It's out of our control. There's nothing we can do. It's about coming back to the small things. And I think nature has an ability to help us with that, to be able to sit and actually marvel at the energy of a little bird in a tree, or a flower that's blooming no matter what, the sun's rays that are reaching your table no matter what. There's something here with that. But anyway, the element of air, and realising, please, that we can send out positive energy into the air, that we can filter it because the air is full of our thoughts. The air is full of our anxiety. The air is full of our terror. What about putting instead into the air the energy of trust, the energy of faith, the energy of recovery, the energy of resilience, the energy of hope? Okay, I'm going to pull a card from the Christ Consciousness deck at this point. Okay, so Christ Consciousness deck. For those of you that don't know, I created this Christ Consciousness deck, and it has 55 cards within it. And I'd just like to ask for the energy of Jesus to be here. And I'm reminded of that saying that Christ said, which is, I am with you always to the end of days. And this feels as though, he's just saying, I'm here, no matter what, I'm here. Okay, which card then, please, from the Christ Consciousness deck for these times we're in, escalating war? Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. It's the same painting I've got behind me. And those of you that watch me frequently know I often change my paintings just because I like to. But nearly went to change the Magi off my wall. And I thought, no, they need to be here for this video. And we've got the Magi card that's come through. Now, this is about signs and divine timing. Ultimately, the Magi, who were they? They were astronomers of their day, astrologers of their day. They were able to read the stars. They were able to see the signs. More than anything, they knew that there was something good coming on the horizon, which was, of course, was the arrival of Jesus, a demonstration of Christ consciousness in its purest form. They trusted, they made their travels over land to be there with the gifts of gold, frankincense and myrrh. So there was an energy there of travel, of trust, of finding yourself in the right place through your own efforts, but absolutely also in reading the signs. So let's see what goes with them. What goes with the Magi? I mean, it could also be, we've got this card's on the bottom of the deck, Strength, Lionheart. Okay, I'll take that. It's this thing about light in the dark, isn't it? It's, again, during the darkness is when you see the light. I'm wondering whether there's going to be a particular light phenomena. And no, I'm not talking about some horrible bomb that everybody sees. The arrival of the light. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me just tune into that. The arrival of the light. It can be many things. It can be galactic in nature. I don't necessarily think we're going to see a great big ship in the sky at the moment of, worst war. But it feels so there's some sort of light phenomena that we can see. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. It's a blue star. Is that linked into a Hopi prophecy, the blue star? Let me just double check that, please. Blue star, Hopi prophecy. Okay. The blue star Kachina prophecy is a significant part of Hopi prophecy, foretelling the arrival of a celestial sign, a blue star which signifies the end of the fourth world and the beginning of the fifth world. The event is associated with the day of purification and the potential arrival of a true white brother. So it signals the end of the current world and the beginning of a new one. It's a period of cleansing and transformation that follows the star's appearance. So I'm reading that linked into fourth and fifth with regards to dimensional frequency, the fifth dimension, the new earth. So it ultimately leads to a new world. It feels as though whatever is to come is part of getting us there. But unfortunately, there's going to be death and destruction along the way before we get there. There already is anyway. There already is, It just feels on a bigger scale. So, I mean, what can we say that is positive here? Keep your eye fixed on the horizon, basically. I think those of us that truly understand these days know that what is happening is part of getting us to where we need to be, unfortunately. And to remain strong. We've got the Lionheart energy. Let me pull a card from the Metatron deck. So I also created an Archangel Metatron self-mastery deck, which tends to be more personal in nature with regards to what can we do. What can we do during these times, Metatron, please? We have the Gold Cup, and we have Authentic Self, and we have Indigo Mystery of Life, and we have Go with the Flow, paddle on. That card, go with the flow, paddle on, is interesting because we have this card in reverse. This is the collective that are stuck. They don't know how to traverse these times. It's almost an energy I'm feeling of, you know, when you've got so much fear, you literally can't move. You go into almost like a survival type mode, and you literally can't move. You're in shock. That boat is stuck, you know, and the boat isn't just to do with the Hormuz Strait. It's symbolic as well. It's like we can't get through this eye of the needle to get to where we need to be. It's too much. It's too horrific. It's too painful. We're just in fear. Whereas this card, Archangel Metatron, is saying to us, go with the flow and paddle on. No matter what, paddle on. No matter what, keep going. No matter what, keep holding the faith. Because, you know, this person riding that boat, he's going through a whole load of boulders and it's not smooth. There are rapids. There are fast moving currents. There are great big stones in the way that could pierce the boat. But no matter what, paddle on, keep going, basically, is what Metatron is saying. We've also got the golden cup of replenishment. It's the gold ray, an authentic self. Who are you? Be yourself. Look at this person. They are standing out from the crowd. The crowd is lost. The crowd doesn't know what it's doing. The crowd are like a bunch of headless chickens. The crowd, many people are just going back into the old ways of division, that this country is right and that country is wrong, that these people are right, that these people are wrong, that this ideology is okay, that this ideology is not okay, that this person can have a weapon of mass destruction, but this person can't. I know it's not quite as simple as that, but I'm just saying it's to do with people love to take sides. And, you know, I've seen it's interesting days on social media. There's been a few people that I've followed over the years, and it's like, whoa, they're really showing their true colours, and it's not pretty at all. And it's this thing about almost like enjoying the division, like whipping it up, you know, as though we're on some sort of macabre pantomime. Horrible energy. I don't want anything to do with it at all. I just will not be that. You know, I don't want to be that. I'm not that, because we're different. We're able to see something that others can't see, and that you're going to be mocked for, you're going to be derided for, you don't know what you're talking about, it's easy for you, you know, all of that will be thrown in your face. I can already hear it. But the truth is that you came. Look at these eyes. That's you. That's me. The eyes are focused on what it knows to be true, which is the God-like presence we have within ourselves to keep shining, to keep going no matter what. We are the golden cup, basically. We are the cup of replenishment that others need in these times of indigo energy, finding the light in the dark. Okay, sorry, a reminder also on protection. I was going to say that earlier and got sidetracked. Remember to put on your armour of God. I noticed this morning, coming into my shop sales overnight, a lot of people were buying the armour of God little reminders that we sell. We have them in wood. We've also got them in metal. Have I got a metal one? Yeah. Oh no, that's not that. That's anyway, there is a metal one. I haven't got it to show you to hand. They come in metal and they come in wood, and they are just a reminder. I have one of these in my handbag. I have one of them on my desk. I have one beside my bed. More than anything, just because I'm busy like all of you, and I forget to do things. So if I actually see this on my desk in the morning, it's like, oh yeah, have you put on your armour of God? I've done a whole video on the armour of God. If you want to see it, do check it out. I'll link it below. But you put on your armour of God. It's the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, the shield of faith, the sword of the Spirit, and feet that walk in peace. You can also surround yourself in golden light. We did a golden light protective ritual with Serapis Bay on my last Egyptian video. You can look at that. You can use the Eye of Horus to also bestow protection. And this is also about overcoming obstacles, restoration, rejuvenation. You can work with Archangel Michael and the blue ray. You can work with crystals. Today I've consciously put on black lava stone and selenite, because to me they are, and I've also got, oh gosh, what was that? Moonstone. They're just, that's what I felt I needed today. It's like that black and white energy, duality, get yourself back into balance. But yeah, remember to put your spiritual protection on. Okay, anything else to say? I'm just going to pull cards from 2 more decks, and then we're going to end with a prayer. So we're nearly there. I am going to pull another card from this one, which is the Shaman's Dream Oracle. Let's just see if there's anything else to say in this video. The next 24 to 78 hour period, please, for our world. Escalating tensions. Anything else to say, please? We've got stars in the sky, limitless potential. And then we've got root girl, disowned self. Really interesting. Okay, so right now, this is where a lot of humanity is. This is the nature of war. This is about displacement, being uprooted, having no home, having no sanctuary, having no safety. It's literally like having the rug pulled out from underneath your feet. It's also, that's how I'm reading this card today anyway, okay? And then the next one is where we need to get to. We obviously need to be grounded and rooted, unlike this energy here. But this is stars in the sky, limitless possibility. Look at that card. That is so powerful, my friends. How many times have I talked to you about Archangel Metatron being a bridge, and that we ultimately are bridges? We are bridges from a lower dimensional frequency to a higher one. We are bridges from an energy of war to peace. And that's what we need to be right now. We need to be the bridge. We need to not just be the calm eye of the storm, we need to be the bridge. And this aspect is an aspect of ourself that's sitting on that bridge. That despite, look at all the dark clouds, all the darkness that is surrounding this figure. It is maintaining its crystalline perspective, its crystalline presence. And it is bringing that down. There's definitely this energy of, this blue energy it's very galactic. There's a very galactic blue energy. So I feel as though this is also our galactic self, bringing down lineage there, starseed energy that is required right now to see beyond the chaos. But there's something here about stars in the sky, because we had the blue star earlier. Watch the skies. I really feel that. And, you know, that's very dualistic, isn't it? Watch the skies. If you're in Israel or Tehran, you're watching the skies and you're seeing missiles coming towards you. What are we doing, though, in different parts of the world? Could we look at the sky tonight and maybe see a shooting star, to wish upon a star for world peace? For peace within our home, peace within our country, peace in a far-off land. I feel as though that's what we need to be doing. Okay. One card from here, which is the Lantern Oracle, wanted to come into this video. Any other message, please, for this video, for the people watching? The next 24 to 78 hours. Misalignment. It says miracles become normal once we face all of the aspects of our life in the same direction. So right now, not only is the collective in a reverse position, not being able to accept maybe what is coming, and not being able to take life as it comes. You know, and life as it comes is knowing that you're going to have to navigate showers. You're also going to have periods of sunshine. You're going to have happiness. You're going to have sadness. You're going to have war. You're going to have peace, because you're on a planet of duality. It's like it's like there's so much trauma out there, people can't deal with it. So we've got that. We've also got misalignment. So humanity is not aligned to the highest timeline. That's the truth of it. We are not aligned to the highest timeline. So what is our job as light workers? To try to get the collective there. You know, the 100th monkey effect. It says miracles become normal once we face all of the aspects of our life in the same direction. We have to be aligning, basically. There's also a card of accountability on the bottom of the deck, which is reminding us of responsibility to ourselves and to others. I think that accountability is linked into those that are provoking war, those that are doing war's bidding. And I'm sorry, but I want to go back to root level in terms of who is supplying the weapons, who is profiteering from the weapons. And whether you like it or not, that's probably going to be one of the countries that you and I live in. Well, many countries, you know, certainly UK, it's certainly USA, it's many of them. That is not a nice pill to swallow. It's a very bitter pill to swallow, but it's where we're going to have to get to if we want to truly bring in peace. Do you want the economy buffeted by sales of war arms? I'm sorry, but that's where the messages are going. So let's end with trying to get us back into a state of alignment, not just for ourselves but for the world. But I did also just want to pull one card from this Sea Oracle, because I'm picking up not just the energy of air, obviously the energy of fire, but also the energy of water with regards to the Strait of Hormuz. So what does water have to say to us right now? What energy does the water element have to say to us right now? We've got the energy of rescue. Help others in need or ask for assistance when you need it. We've got voyage as well. There's definitely an energy of travel. I mean, maybe travel is going to be disrupted soon. I mean, if you're about to go on holiday, have a good one. You know, there's lots of people about to go off on holiday. So, but there's also something, if you're not, I think there's something about staying close to home, finding safety, finding sanctuary. But we've got the energy of rescue. That's what the sea is saying, rescue. And I'm being shown Titanic, you know, and the fact that there weren't enough boats to rescue the people that needed it. There's going to be people that need rescuing as a result of the next 48 to 72 hours. What do we then do as a species with that? Do we turn away? Do we say we're full? Or can we somehow provide safe haven for those who have been, through no fault of their own, misplaced? Difficult times for our world. Anyway, let's get back now to ending with a prayer. And what shall I go with? I'm going to go with... I'm actually going to go with our star brothers and sisters. I'm going to use Commander Ashtar, Galactic Federation. I do feel an overlighting energy of galactic light over all of this as well. I mean, I'm on record of saying many times that I believe the galactics watch over our planet to stop us from annihilating ourselves. But having said that, of course, there have been nuclear disasters in our lifetimes. Fukushima and Chernobyl in mine, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, before I was born. So it's not out of possibility that we can have nuclear accidents or isolated nuclear events, unfortunately. And there is a timeline there where that is possible. But the galactics will never allow ourselves to blow the planet up, basically. That's the truth of it. So, but they still don't even want isolated incidents. Of course they don't. So we're going to ask Ashtar to try to help, okay, and see what the galactic energy has got to say about all of this. Okay, so he's showing me... So if you work with the angels, you might, for example, shower the Middle East in blue light or golden light. Blue is a colour of protection and safety. Gold is a colour of protection also. But I'm being shown diamond light here. Ashtar's showing me diamond light. But it's quite interesting. It looks like rain, but the droplets aren't shaped like droplets. They are shaped like little diamonds. So I'm seeing like a mist, a diamond mist that can be put over parched land. It can also be used after an event, I'm being told. So it's actually a rescue energy as well, if needed. It's something that if where bombs have been, or for example, or missiles have struck, this diamond light, it's like a very fine mesh, can be put over it. It's a bit like it's like gauze. It's like healing gauze energy that helps to just keep something in place. It's a bit like if it was over a person and the person had got shattered bones. This diamond mesh-like energy is able just to hold something in place, because the truth is, not wishing to upset anybody, but in war is never good. You have people that might be lying there who don't have medical attention, who can't get to a hospital for days, who might not get the treatment they need. Now, even if that is their time to pass, you don't want to have a painful passing. So something about the diamond net light holding something in place, or stemming blood flow, or even like he's showing me now, buildings, like a building that's been hit, putting this diamond, it's like a net around it, just holds it in place. Maybe not forever, but just until, for example, everybody's out. So you can either put it over the whole country or over a specific city, whether it's Jerusalem, whether it's Tehran, wherever it is, whether it's Gaza. So that's one thing he's showing me for whatever reason. But also he's saying that they are working overtime to try to alleviate and avert. And actually doesn't feel like he can spend much time with me. It's very sort of in, out. It's like, I'm here, but I've got to go. That type of energy. I'm seeing fleets of ships behind him coming in, actually as rescue vehicles as well. So souls that are sadly departing right now, they are being, when I say picked up, I don't mean that in terms of like, alien abduction or nothing like that. It's like the Galactics that I'm tuning into here are our friends. They are helping to, I'm actually seeing operations in some place as well people being taken up who are lying on the ground, but actually are being worked on at a higher level in these ships before human help can arrive. But these ships are definitely there in the sky as rescue boats. It's a bit like Titanic, but it's like rescue boat type energy. He's saying what they're trying to do is work with the diamond light and trying to download that into significant people's psyches, brains, minds, but some of them are very closed off. And there is a rule, he's saying, he's reminding us of the rule of being here on Earth, which is that they can't always intervene in every particular situation. Human free will, if a human has closed themselves off and doesn't want help or doesn't want to receive divine instruction, or not from them, it won't receive it. So there's a degree of frustration on their part as well, but they're definitely here for us. Didn't know why I was shuffling the cards, but now I do. Number one, I'm being reminded of the Merkaba. On the back of all of the Metatron cards, we've got the Merkaba. We've also got the energy of the heart. Okay. So a reminder as we close out to stay in your heart, to evoke Merkaba around yourself, around particular places, around this planet. Within the Merkaba field, for there to be an energy of purity, cleansing, healing, light, and above all love, to align ourselves as a species to the highest possible timeline, And right now, I'm seeing a huge swathe of humanity who are not aligned to that highest timeline, who are deliberately actually almost like running from it for some reason, being led by Pied Pipers. But us, who have got a free mind and are free thinkers, and who can see beyond the chaos. Not everybody can. We can see beyond the chaos. We are aligning to the highest possible timeline. And the beautiful thing about this highest timeline is we don't even know what that is. We are trusting that it is better than what is around us right now, because it's about surrendering the ego, surrendering control, that it has to be a certain way, that this particular person has to be a victor, that this particular person has to be the hero. Surrender all of that. We are bringing in the energy of a higher power that is bigger than any of that. And we are forming a queue behind the highest timeline that is possible right now without any restriction of knowing how that looks, who is leading it, because actually who is leading it is us. But we know that that is where we need to be. And the more of us that stand in that queue, aligned to that highest timeline, the more people will join us. Keep peace in your heart. Keep love in your heart. Be kind to each other. Be compassionate to all. Try to stay out of the division and the separation online, the rights and the wrongs, the drama, the slinging matches. It does not serve you. Keep your family close. Keep your sanity. Draw close the guides that are here in multitude. They're all here. And know that no matter what, all will be well. Thank you for listening. Take care. Please share this message if you found it helpful for yourself. Thank you. Bye-bye for now. Bye.